Okay, let's go to OriginUp. So I already did mine here. I found this image was because it's like, I'm thinking about storytelling. It's done around the fire. That's my thought about this one. She's telling her story around the fire. That's the reason that it became that image. Okay, so these are the questions that are here. What personal experience made you want to start this business? Think about the moment you realized this matters. It doesn't need to be dramatic, just real. But this one is, you need to fill out this one where you see these stars, then you have to fill it out. But I usually have that just on the first one, and then it's optional. But the more you fill out, the better it is, of course. So what challenge were you trying to solve for yourself at first? Many solopreneurs start by scratching their own itch. What was yours? When did you realize this could help others too? What drives you to help this audience now? What makes you care deeply about your clients or the change you want to see in that they get? Who do you want this story to resonate with? Piece in your dream client niche or describe who needs to hear this. Yeah, the difference is what is it that drives you to help them now, and this is who you want to help. And you might also have some other information you want to share, add any extra context, angles of details that feel important to shaping your story. And then also you can add in here your brand voice or vibe, pasting from your brand voice up or from vibe voice up, depending on what kind of voice you want to have your origin story told in. Okay, so I have filled out this, why your origin story matters. This is going to tell you, so I'll take a look over here. You can click here and then you'll see all your inputs. What are the inputs for the output that's actually standing there? And if you have done this several times, the history of all the generated outputs will be in here. And you will also find what inputs you actually gave to get that output. You just click on this on the top here. So what the outputs are going to give you here, first, it goes into why our origin story matters a little bit. And we've been talking about that in the presentation. And it's about what makes you credible, relatable, and real. And the right story shows your dream client. You've been where I am, and you know how to help me get to the other side. You can use your origin story in lots of places, your about page or sales page, introductions in webinars or guest interviews, your brand deck or pitch, social posts, emails, or reels, elevated pitches, and you can use PitchUp for that. Or so then it goes over to let's shape your story. So we've been through this in the presentation, but I thought it was a good idea to include this in the output so people get an idea of where they actually can use this origin story. So it's going to give you 2 origin stories with 2 different angles. So the story option 1 is with an emotional emphasis, and the story option 2 is with a strategic emphasis. So for me, I'm probably more logic and strategic because I kind of like the option 2 better than 1. So I think maybe I generated this before I added the brand voice. I think maybe this is not included in, or did I have that? Yeah, it was. I actually added that later because I realized, hey, I want to, needs to be with my brand voice or my vibe voice, but I actually generated this one before I had that. So it's going to sound a lot better if you get your brand voice, or maybe you like to use the vibe voice for your brand. So then you can just put that in here, and you'll of course get those in the other brand ups here, in the brand voice up here, or the vibe voice up here, where you find your voice that you want to use in AI to get it sounding how you want it to sound. So then it's 2 stories here, and you can have a look at it. And if you're not happy with it, you can either go and change your questions or add something and regenerate it. But you can also add in the comments here, hey, I kind of like this from story option 1 and this from story option 2. Can you please combine that? So then it will rewrite it for you. And of course, you can also take it to Brandy and discuss, hey, I got this from the OriginUp. I want to work a little bit more on this so I get it exactly as I want it. If there's something missing and it doesn't sound exactly what you want. But you can comment here and go a little bit back and forth also in here to get it as you want. And then it gives you a little bit of a reflection, which version feels most true to you, or could you blend them into one? Yeah, that fits your vibe best, like I said. And both options capture the heart and strategy behind the journey. If you resonate with the emotional highs and lows of solopreneurship, the first story may feel more authentic. If you pride yourself on practical solution and expert system, the second may align, like it did for me. Or maybe the most powerful origin story fuses emotional understanding with your strategic vision, reflecting both the heart and the brain behind SoloGenius. And then I've started doing this for all the new apps that I make, and I might also add it to the apps I've built before, but I do have some of it, I think, because I find it very useful to add in the next steps. What can you do once you're here? Where should I go next? So the origin story, if you have it ready, if this is the one that you want, or you may want to work more on it, but when you have it ready, this is something that you could go into your Genius file. So this is core part of your brand strategy. So then you can save that in your found up notes until you have everything ready to fill out the Genius file. And you can also turn this into a killer pitch. So you can use pitch up to condense your story into a bold, snappy intro or a type of elevator pitch. And if you're still refining your audience, then you can take it to the audience spark up or niche up to clarify who this story is meant to move. Because it doesn't have to be a business idea. You can actually also bring like your origin story instead of like the description of the idea. So you can pop that into these Explore apps as well. If you want to work a little bit more on the origin story, it doesn't give you exactly what you want and you don't want to comment here, you can actually go to Brandy and discuss that more with her there. So that's the one here. But I think if there's any other apps that you want me to demo, we do have time for that because it's not even been an hour. So we can do other apps if you want me to share something with you. So let me know that and give me your feedback on what you think. Last week, I shared the presentation and the demo of the Explore apps. Those are going to be very good because they're so much simpler. You don't have to fill out a lot that you don't really know yet. So then you fill out and it gives you a lot of ideas. And then because I felt something was missing because the foundation apps, you already kind of need to know what you're having. And then you need to know answers for a lot of things. So there's a phase before that, this explore phase. You need to find those answers to get to the foundation level and then build from there. So those apps you should definitely try those out when you get the chance. I started on a category that's called Academy app where I will add videos and recordings and the presentations and stuff like that. So you can go see them there. But because I don't like I don't know how useful it is to share the full recording. That way I kind of have to show where it is. I kind of like to cut it out a little bit, but it's a lot of work. So I'll see how, so I'm taking out the most important things, but that's why I like to have these. I've started now to have these presentations because then it becomes a teaching moment or something that is easier to go back to and actually watch. So I have this presentation first, and then I kind of connect those to the apps. And so origin story is more of a branding. So it's basis, on your why you started and everything, and also, but it's a part of your branding. So it fits nicely under branding, but that's also part of your foundational work to decide what your branding is. So these are the things that also go into the Genius file. So the origin story, the transformation things can probably also go into the Genius file, but like the micro stories, those are more for daily types of content and all of that. And I'm really excited about the story bolt up. That's going to be so helpful because if you're doing any content, that's going to make it so much easier because it's very, it's so much more powerful to use stories in the content. So I understand there's a lot, Katerina, and you've been kind of away for a while, so there's a lot happening.
Yeah. But I know that when I have this time, so I can just dive in and to get used to it. So I see the future coming
Yeah.
quickly because yeah, I'm really excited to learn and to see what I can do with my ideas and how these can grow and to to be more like concrete or like exact.
Yeah. And that's what I'm building. I feel like I've gotten quite a bit longer with these explore apps, and it's going to be such a solid platform for wherever you are in your process. And I mean, these explore apps, it's not only for people just starting out, because as solopreneurs and with a business, we need ideas all the time. And for new things and new things happening, maybe we need to have a workshop. Maybe we need to, I mean, and I use AI constantly every day, and it really, really helps me so much. And I know that people need guidance, and I think I've set these apps up now so it's possible. It's just go through them and you'll build a business kind of thing. I feel like it might can be a little bit like that.
But I can tell you that everything you say, it's really like big resonation and on me, and I feel that like everything you say takes me to my own thought and how I have already ideas how I could use it. So it's like yes, I want to do it. So it's really really powerful that you are showing now. So I want to give you a feedback that I think the product you are working on is really really cool.
Yeah, and that is very. Thank you so much. And but did you? So it's good. It's very nice to hear that it's inspiring you to and get ideas and thoughts and everything, because that's the whole point, and that's what I want to achieve. And did you feel like this presentation was it? I know I'm not an expert, and there was a little in the start, and but I feel like the content of the presentation was okay. So did you feel like you understood everything, and did the presentation give you like inspiration or?
Yeah, yeah, absolutely. I was also like looking at this like only pictures on the presentation. It was like, yeah, you can do everything together, like with the colors and everything. I see a lot of work back it behind it, and then I see like I really like this like not like timeline, but it was like first this, then this, then this. So this was really like not only text. It was
Yeah, yeah, and this
it's
is
showing the
also
way, and this
this
was
is
really
also
like
AI,
helpful.
Katerina.
Hmm.
That presentation and built in, not the content of it, that I worked time on that, but then when I have all the slides, the text for all the slides ready, I just pop it into Gamma app, and
Hmm.
then it does it for me.
Yeah, this I mean like everything you show it shows how this could be used. So
Yeah, you see possibility.
yeah, yeah. So this is really really helpful.
Yeah, that's
Yeah.
wonderful. So it's saying here, transformational stories could be gathered in a document with our perfect client or one where we have our offers. Yeah, like a different one than the Genius file, or I'm not sure what you mean, Adriana. There is a place for the origin story to put into the Genius file, or were you thinking of a different document? I don't know if she's hearing me now. Seems, I guess she's writing. It was just an idea. Really like how you are giving more clear directions on what we can do with the info that we get. Oh yeah, like the next steps. That's what. Yeah, that's so everything gets better, and I realize things that because then it's leading people somewhere, right? And there's so many with this platform. There's so many different directions you can go depending on what you need to do right now or where you are in your journey. So you might have to, somebody need to maybe find out more. Do I actually have the right audience? or is this offer good enough, or is my story? But it does show you the steps that you can take, or there's probably more steps than it's there, but I'm adding the ones that I feel is natural to take from that step or from that output or the place that you're in. So I'm adding that to all yeah. And I have actually built myself an app now, an app thinker app. So it's for me to build apps because now I have a format and a structure of how I'm building these apps. So then I thought, hey, I'm doing this several times. So in the same way, hey, I need an app for that. So of course I have to build myself an app for that. And that makes all the sense because that saved time. And it's, instead of me, no, it almost like this, but now it remembers I'm going to have the next steps. I'm going to have this. I'm going to have that. So that's my motto now. If you can save 5 minutes, build an app for it.